At the same time in Jian's apartment, our boy asked Gukashe when he would be able to go out again, reminding him that 3 days had already passed. Gukashe began to walk toward him, explaining that he had come precisely to tell him that they had almost completely resolved the matter of the assassins who had infiltrated Daxia's territory. He revealed that 8 6-transformation assassins and 3 7-transformation assassins had already been eliminated. Jiang sat on the sofa and asked if he was now free from danger. Gukashe said no, since it was said there was still an 8-transformation assassin who hadn't been caught yet. Furthermore, the High Command was worried that they wouldn't give up and might send even stronger assassins. Upon hearing this, our boy realized that there was always going to be someone who wanted to kill him. He didn't know if then he would have to be protected like a useless person. With a confident gaze, our boy revealed that he had many skills and cards up his sleeve, and even so he couldn't face them by himself. He had to always be like a useless person, being protected. He asked if his master didn't believe that such so-called protection was also a restriction for his progress. With a serious expression, using his hand, Jiang grabbed Tang Ying, who was hiding inside a rift, by the cheek and showed her to Gukashe. She panicked, saying that her father had asked her to do this. Our boy thanked her but asked her to go rest. Tang Ying obeyed and started walking toward the door. Gukashe began pointing at her with his finger and in a confused tone asked when she had hidden herself. With a nervous gaze, Jiang mentioned that she had been hiding for a while. She was so embarrassed that she hadn't dared come out, and although she had suppressed her energy, she couldn't hide from his eyes. Upon hearing this, Gukashe felt even more confused since he didn't know what was going on here. With a serious gaze, our boy asked him if he remembered Song Chung. Gukashe recalled that guy being part of the celestial tribe Tian King. Jiang questioned whether his master knew how he made Song Chung fall into his trap. Our boy extended his hand and revealed that by using his eyes, within a radius of 30,000 meters, he could see all the information about people. Gukashe sat on the sofa, put his arm around his shoulder, and with a smile mentioned that he did not expect Jiang to have that trick. He decided to let Jiang take care of the matter of the assassins since due to the problems of the 3 islands abroad, Daxia was short-staffed. An excited smile spread across Jiang's face. He decided to go kill the assassins since instead of defending himself passively, it was better to attack first. Gukashe was somewhat surprised, realizing that youth and bravery were good things, but advised him never to underestimate his opponent. Our boy nodded. Muhenkyu placed 2 cups of tea on the table and with a kind smile asked them to have some tea. Upon seeing her, Gukashe became confused. Jiang mentioned that Luo Sando was making the bed for him while on the other side. Cai Xunyu was using her firepower to roast meat. Upon hearing this, Gukashe realized that our boy wanted to enjoy all the pleasures. Jiang stood up and with a smile told them that today's work was finished, asking them not to come tomorrow. He assigned them a new mission. They had to go to the secret sanctuary and hunt fierce beasts, the stronger, the better. Luo Sando and the others nodded their heads. In the desert, 2,000 kilometers southwest of the border city of Maju, a knight arrived and said he had good and bad news. The good news was that Daxia had relaxed surveillance on Jiang, which meant he could now leave his apartment. The bad news was that almost all the assassins sent by the countries to Daxia had been killed. The High Command had assigned him the task of joining forces and making sure everything went well. This knight was part of the Order of the Templars. He mentioned that the most important thing was to make sure there were no internal conflicts if this operation succeeded. Each participating nation would receive a key to enter the ninth turn. Just by looking at the number of people, it already seemed fair to him. They were 6 and the other nations only had 3 people, but the reward would be the same. Just then, a man with a ponytail appeared and asked where was the injustice. The captain of the knight's team was only third on the list of most powerful assassins, but Sekira's god assassin from their country, Mr. Sado, was also here. The knight began to observe the man and mentioned that he had always been in the first place on the list for more than 10 years, while their captain had just entered the 8th rank, but Mr. Sado had already reached the 8th rank 10 years ago. This man was Kadoiji, from the country Sekira, an elite assassin, and was in 7th place on the list of assassins. With a smile, he extended his hand and made it clear that if it weren't for the divine artifact he held in his hands, the flute of summoning wands, no one else could face Jiang Chen's millions of insects from 9 miasma wings. The knight could not deny that his flute was truly impressive, but he asked where the supposed god of assassins was. His companion said that this guy was just showing off, since he was so old that only the worthless title remained. At that moment, someone got angry upon seeing that the knights were speaking badly about the great god Sado, and in the blink of an eye, ended their lives. He was Sado Kinchai from the country Sekira, and he was in 8th place on the list of assassins. He sheathed his sword and mentioned that now the number of people was more or less even, asking everyone to greet him. Upon seeing this, the knight greeted him respectfully and apologized, admitting it was all his fault for not disciplining his men properly. Sado decided it was time to talk about planning and division of labor. A woman named Park Yeonjin, who was holding a magical crystal ball, began to walk toward them with a cheerful look. She was from the frozen nation and was at the peak of the 7th transformation, being the number 5 assassin in the ranking. With a smile, she revealed that their country, had sent 2 assassins into the depths of Great Zetalur Jianqing to this place. She was determined to take Great Cold as her origin element, and the crystal ball in her hand could trap Jian's thunder skills. Sado turned toward her and made it clear that talking about origin for now wasn't good. Seeing that she could attract the enemy and restrict his thunder skills, he thought she was somewhat useful. He revealed that the 9 miasma winds would be controlled by a member of his country called Kadohide. Also, the genius from Zhou Jiuyan clan had risked his life to challenge Jianqing and had discovered that he possessed a darkness attribute skill, which made him someone very powerful. A monk was meditating on top of the mountain. He was Sharma from the realm Shiva. He was at the peak of the 7th transformation and number 4 in the ranking. While his eyes were glowing, he explained to Shiva that the element of darkness did not exist in this world. It was necessary to borrow it from the 9 underworlds of hell. If they could seal Jian's dark cracks, they would prevent him from using his darkness skills like the spear. Sado approached the knight and with a serious gaze decided to ask him 2 questions. He wanted to know how to deal with the dark demon of 9 transformations. He knew that this place was near Mount Kunlun. Not only was it a location of divine source of Great Zia, but it also was only 1,000 kilometers away from the entrance to the cave. He wanted to know how they could guarantee that they would not attract powerful forces into action. The knight put his hand inside a rift and decided to show everyone a sacred object from the temple. He took out a shining paper and revealed that it was the sacred light refraction, which could block all their aura and all their energy fluctuations. A smoke screen appeared around his body. He asked everyone to pay attention, since the refraction of sacred light was completely shielded. It was different from ordinary methods of spatial concealment. They were in a mirror world and no skill could sense them. He activated the refraction of sacred light and a powerful flash appeared in the sky. A barrier appeared around them. Everyone was shocked since they didn't know what was happening or if they had been dragged into the mirror world. The knight mentioned that even if they set aside the master of the cave who due to his responsibilities couldn't physically leave the cave, as long as they managed to bring Jiang Chen into the mirror world first, no matter how many times he transformed, no trace of him could be found in the outside world. Showing the refraction of sacred light, he revealed that to deal with the dark demon of the 9 transformations, they were going to do the exact opposite as soon as it appeared. They were going to launch another layer of sacred light refraction to temporarily isolate it, and although the effect was not going to last long as it was trapped for more than 10 seconds, it was going to be annihilated by the heavenly Tao. He approached Sadhu and explained that with this, they would not have to worry about the 9 miasma winds, the thunder element, the dark element, nor about the abyssal demon. Sadhu realized that even if Jiang Chen managed to temporarily reach the 7th transformation by taking ancient god blood, he was sure that he could kill him with a single move. At the same time at Xiangdanan's main base, a crowd of people began looking toward the sky. Among them there was a sexy woman and a little girl. Everyone was amazed to see the sovereign of calamities strolling through Great Xia. In the sky was Jiang standing over the poisonous mist. He knew that if he wanted to attract all the assassins and kill them, it was better to draw attention. Little Nine and Ziu Jia appeared on Jiang's shoulder and asked if they were going on a trip. While Jiang's eyes were shining with seriousness, he nodded his head. Little Ziu Jia thought that the children passing by on the street looked like them and asked why they were all carrying backpacks. Our boy mentioned that they had to go to school. Upon hearing this, Ziu Jia asked if they could also go to school. Jiang decided to talk about it later and began flying through the city. Little Nine asked what Jiang had in mind, and our boy revealed that he was looking for a mom for them. Jiang's attention was fixed on the sexy woman and the girl. With a cheerful gaze, they began to greet our boy. The system revealed that the woman was named Jin Meiji, an assassin from the Gelid nation. She was in the 6th transformation. She was very charming and liked to kill. The girl was named Quan Zixin, an assassin from the Gelid nation. She was in the 7th transformation. She was good at disguising herself, hiding, escaping, and killing. Jiang began to fly away from the area. If they wanted to attack, it would be very complicated to do so in the main base. He decided to look for some remote place to create opportunities for them, since this way he would also save himself the trouble of bothering people in the city. Jin Meiji's eyes began to shine with joy and malice, according to her. Jiang Chen's whereabouts were very well known, and now that he had no guards, he had let his guard down, being the perfect opportunity for them to attack. Their superiors had said that first they should try to kill Jiang themselves, and if they succeeded, the prestige of their icy country would increase enormously. If in the end it was complicated to kill Jiang, they were going to follow the plan and lure him into the Gobi Desert to ambush him. When she asked Quan Zixun if she was ready, with a look full of excitement, she was already ready to chase Jiang. After a few hours, Jiang reached a forest and gave the order to the insects to fly slower since he wanted to avoid his pursuers losing sight of him. In the forest was Jin Meiji sitting on the ground with a snake bite on her leg. With eyes full of tears, Quan Zixun asked Jiang for help saving her, revealing that she had been bitten by a poisonous snake. Despite the fact that her performance had been pitiful, Jiang descended to the ground and thought that they were ignorant and unprofessional. Upon seeing that Jiang had come to help, Quan Zixun felt happy. Jiang approached her and praised Jin Meiji for being a beautiful girl, and asked her not to worry since he had come to help her. Upon hearing this, her eyes filled with tears and joy. Jiang began to look into her eyes, and with a sincere gaze admitted that something had struck his heart. He not only wanted to save her but also wanted to marry her. Jiang sat in front of her, placed his hand on his chest, and with a loving expression asked her to come into his arms since he was going to take her to a hospital. At that moment, Jin Meiji took out the weapon she had hidden behind her back and it began to shine. With a grateful expression, she thanked our boy. Quan Zixun took advantage of this moment to attack Jiang from behind, and while her eyes were shining, she thanked him saying that he was a very kind person. Jiang couldn't help but smile, and while his eyes were shining with excitement, he used the divine elephant's fist, struck Quan Zixun with his elbow and gave Jin Meiji a strong punch on the cheek. Just then, poisonous mist began to approach Quan Zixun. Seeing this, she panicked and realized that Jiang had deceived them. Quan Zixun began to flee at great speed and asked Jiang not to kill her and promised and returned to give him all the treasures she had hidden. Our boy activated his thunder class, and while poisonous mist was emerging from his body, he prepared to attack. He was in shock to see how fast she was, realizing that she was faster than his lightning flash. It was a skill for covering short distances, but to cover long distances, he had to change places continuously. And the overall speed wasn't as good as using the insect baby. His eyes began to shine, and a smile spread across his face. He knew that she was trying to lead him into an ambush. For him this was something good since catching everyone at once would save him the time of having to look for them one by one. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then subscribe to our channel.